Yes, yes, people, we are back live for another F1 stream regarding the final three races. This is going to be the best, probably the final three races, I think, in F1 in a long, long, long time. I hope, at least as a Ferrari fan, I hope at least as a neutral standpoint as well. Anyone watching F1, you know that these three races might be interesting because Ferrari versus McLaren was not supposed to be on the cards this year. We all thought Red Bull would run away with it again, but here we are talking about the final three races. Joining me, I've got my co-host. What we say, my G?
Yeah,
Back again.
it's been a minute, hasn't it? Haven't been on
Yeah.
here in quite a bit. A lot's happened around the world in sport and everything. I
Yep.
don't think I've been on this stream since Brazil either, which again, a lot happened in Brazil. I have a take on Brazil that maybe will shock a couple people, might surprise you as well. But no, it's nice to see you, man. Hope you are doing well as well.
Yeah. Apologies for the lateness, people. We're an hour late, but make sure that any of you joining, please make sure you smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm currently on 82 subs right now, and I think I want to get to 100 by the end of the month. Please get me to 100 at least, because that shouldn't be a problem, I hope. But people, make sure that you leave your comments, and make sure you share as well, and you leave a like, so we can discuss. But it's gonna be interesting because next week we've got the Vegas Grand Prix, isn't it? The Vegas Grand Prix, and then the final
Yes.
two races will be in Qatar and Abu Dhabi. I want to know how is the season like? Like, so far we've had like a very up and down type of sort of season. I feel like we've we've spoken a lot about how Max has has kind of won his races, and
Mhm.
Lando Norris made that jump to get to where he is right now. Um, but I want to know what are your overall feelings on the final three races, and where have you seen like a massive like change in the season? Where what has been your most like interesting part of the season so far?
I think, look, this season as a whole, if we look at it holistically, it's been a pleasant surprise. Yes, people will be like, Max is likely to win the championship, and he is up by 50 points. But even then, I don't think, like, look, prospectively, we would have anticipated this. Like, retrospectively, it's easy to say that, hey, there was competition. McLaren have been the number one challenger as not
Yeah,
just a constructor but as a driver. Hey, Mercedes had that spell over the summer. Ferrari have been there through phases and spells, and then we've had a couple surprises like Alpine in Brazil, for example. So I mean, it's been, I think it's been a very entertaining season overall, because last season, if we remember, very one-sided. Red Bull won all but
yeah,
one race. So to go from that to have six different race winners in the opening half of the season, that's
mm,
amazing. That's
yeah,
progress. But yeah, I mean, the way I think the biggest disappointment for me this season has to be McLaren, because yes, nobody
ooh,
expected them to challenge, but
mm,
through the second half of the season, I think undeniably we can all admit they've had the fastest car by
yeah,
far. Not even close. The
mm,
races where Charles Leclerc won, like Monza, for example, he had no
yeah,
business winning. That was strategy, which
yeah,
is interesting because from Ferrari's strategy, very uncharacteristic.
uh
But
huh,
yeah, so and again, Mercedes had a spell. You look at Belgium as well, where Lewis Hamilton won. Silverstone wasn't the quickest car either, and they still managed to get the job done. So
mm,
I think for me, it's been a great season. I believe Max is going to clinch it, but
same.
McLaren right up there.
Look, I think yeah, I think Max Verstappen might have won his championship on the final on the Brazil race. I think he might have sealed that completely. I think the drivers' championship is in his hands now. I don't think he can throw this away now, unless he just completely has a DNF for every race and Lando Norris wins every race. Then I see that, but I just don't see Max Verstappen fumbling it from here now, especially with his first race win. Surprise, surprise! Since May,
Crazy.
nobody would have ever thought this would have happened within this year. we'd at least thought Max Verstappen would have at least won another race between that. But Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc and Ferrari have completely taken over. McLaren and Ferrari, Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, Carlos Sainz, and Charles Leclerc completely taken over. And Checo Perez has been a massive disappointment to the Red Bull, because Checo Perez has not finished anywhere near the podium places for I don't know how long, and that's kind of let Max Verstappen down. That he has got for me, I will say this, a very incompetent teammate, very incompetent, because last year his car was none other than probably, let's say, one of the best cars on the grid, arguably the second best car on
the best car.
Yeah, them two cars were the best car on the grid, and then now Checo Perez has had a massive dip in form, so that's kind of led to McLaren's rise and Red Bull's downfall this season. But I think next season I expect them to get better. Whether who they bring in for Checo Perez, I do not know who they bring in for him. I hope they bring in Carlos Sainz. I would love to see Carlos Sainz succeed, especially now he's going to the Williams. I hope they U-turn the decision to let him go to the Williams and to sign him on a bigger deal at Red Bull. But
Agreed.
other than that, I think I've been very happy with the way Ferrari made their comeback. As you know, I'm a Ferrari fan. McLaren, they made the jump from they were like what, nowhere. They were nowhere, and then like all of a sudden they just rose to the top, and then I think they completely overtook Red Bull, carried by Max, and then Ferrari just overtook Red Bull a couple of weeks ago or something. So all is good. I mean, I think it's gonna be tight. The final three races is gonna be very, very tight, because you've now got Lando trying to still within the shout for his drivers' championship, even though I don't think it'll happen. You've got McLaren versus Ferrari in the final three races. We'll see what happens. We'll see what it's all like. But let's talk about Vegas. What do you expect to see in the Vegas Grand Prix? Because the Vegas Grand Prix will be very interesting. It's one of those races where you're like, you just don't know you just don't know what the conditions are going to be like on that day. Especially when you know how Brazil last week. Like I said, Ferrari does not go over the wet tires and the hard tires and all that. It's all medium tires. Only the medium tires Ferrari does well. It's literally the medium tires, and that's in Ferrari's hands. But go on, bro. I'll let you have your say.
No, I agree with you. I think Vegas, if you remember, it's a street circuit. So it's all through Vegas, all through the beauty, the prestige, the heritage, everything about Vegas. So it's obviously a lot of big money involved. Celebrities, superstars will be there. It's a street circuit. So if we're looking at it based on who performs better at street circuits, you would say Checo Perez usually. But like you just mentioned, Ekevin, a few minutes ago, his form has been dismal. And dismal is an understatement. I think for Checo Perez, if there is any chance, you mentioned Carlos Sainz replacing him next year. I still think he's penciled in for the seat. If I'm not mistaken, I still think Checo Perez is officially the driver for Red Bull next year.
I could be terminate this contract. That's the thing.
They can, but I do think because Red Bull is so Max heavy, Max and his entourage have such a chokehold on that team, they would keep Checo because Checo does make Max look very good. They're clearly not interested in competing for the constructors. No available driver could bridge the gap to a Ferrari with Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, or a McLaren with Piastri and Norris. So I think if Checo Perez is to win this weekend or just have a spectacular performance, he could be a shoo-in for next season. Aside from that, again, I think when I look to Vegas, I think McLaren have to win.
Same.
McLaren have to win, especially Lando Norris, because if there is a whisker of a chance that he does close the gap or win the championship, you got to win this weekend. No ifs, buts, or maybes. It's make or break for you. Yeah. But I do think that push comes to shove, Max Verstappen will clinch the title in the streets of Vegas. I think that's going to happen.
I think that's a very huge possibility. The only thing I can say is that it's also a must win for Ferrari.
Agreed.
Because Ferrari, this is Ferrari's best chance to win a constructors championship since the days of Michael Schumacher, who's my favorite driver of all time. And if they go and do it, Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz will be forever in the history books. 100%. Because to go up against a Red Bull car that's dominated for like the past 3 years, to go up against McLaren who made their jump, and not only that, to take advantage of Mercedes' downfall in a way. To go and take advantage of that and go and win that championship will be very very amazing. I hope it happens. I really do hope it happens. And I also hope that Carlos Sainz leaves on a high, so that constructors championship will be a must. And even though Ferrari did not win the race in Brazil, that place that Charles Leclerc finished above Lando Norris was very crucial. Finishing above Lando Norris was very crucial that day, because if he had dropped below Lando Norris, the race it's over. It's over because you finished below him, right? So then that adds more points to McLaren than it does to Ferrari. But now it kind of closes the gap a little bit more. So Ferrari are getting closer to McLaren, but at the same time, it's about finishing it. It's about finishing it in style this weekend, or next weekend. Excuse me. It's about finishing it, and it's about taking the chance when given to you. Next weekend is make or break again for Ferrari, and every single week is make or break for Ferrari now. I've been saying it, and I will continue to say it. Ferrari needs to win every single race until the end of the season. They need to win every race, and get double podium for the rest of the season, because you cannot allow Lando Norris to finish above you, or even get a sniff of the podium place. Well, he probably will, but if he does, you need to have a double podium finish, Ferrari, and take advantage of what you've done. Because I think then that'll open the door for Ferrari to maybe take advantage in the following race and get even closer. So it depends, and it also depends on the conditions, whether the conditions are in their favor. Because obviously the wet tires do not favor Ferrari in Brazil at all. They don't favor anyone, to be honest. And I don't blame anyone. It's wet tires. You can't race in the rain. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to get the race in the rain, and especially you saw that Haas double. With was a Haas double? It was Haas, wasn't it? Was it a Haas double that
It was an Alpine double.
Excuse me, Alpine double.
Yes.
So Alpine had a 2-3 finish for those who don't know. They finished that. Well, actually, first of all, what are your thoughts on the Brazil Grand Prix before anything?
Look, you mentioned it about wet weather races. I think wet weather races are more representative of ability than dry races, because in dry tracks, cars can make a big difference as well. You have DRS, whereas in a wet race, for those who don't watch Formula One, there is no DRS. So basically, if you're going to make an overtake, that's on sheer skill and sheer confidence and ability. When it comes to wet weather racing, what we saw in Brazil last weekend was nothing but exceptional. I genuinely and purely think it was one of the greatest drives in F1 history. No doubt about it. The fact that Max Verstappen won from 17th place.
Oh, yeah.
He made up 10 places on the first few laps in the wet, in the volatile conditions. And coming from the back, you could easily get stuck in a lot of traffic, dirty air. Again, it's foggy. You can't really see. Yet for Max, he didn't care. Variable after variable, obstacle after obstacle, he defied them completely and conclusively. And the way he managed to overtake, everything about his drive was the precipice of perfect. It was so beautiful. He was aggressive. He was measured. I think he debunked almost all the criticism from the week before in Mexico, where him and Lando went wheel to wheel and Max made multiple mistakes. So I think for Max, epic race. One of the best races. You can make the case that it's better than Lewis Hamilton's race in 2021 as well. I don't think it is, but I do think still, in terms of pure ability, one of the best drives ever, no doubt about it. And that's the race that won Max Verstappen the championship, and that's the race that shows you the difference between Max and Lando. Because with all due respect, you give Max Lando's car, this race was over before the summer.
Literally, it's over. Like I think.
Nothing against Lando, very quick driver. We all
Mm,
know that. But in terms
yeah.
of mental strength, there is no conversation. Verstappen
Oh
is a
yeah,
legal
sure, sure. The thing is,
compared
yeah,
to
with
this. And yeah.
yeah, go on, go on.
No, and I was just gonna say you mentioned Alpine 1 and 2, 2 and 3, not 1 and 2. That would be pretty spectacular if they were 1 and 2. But 2 and 3, yeah, pretty impressive. Again, luck favored them and strategy. So that's something that Ferrari need to do better. Learn from Alpine. You
I
know,
hear that.
when the circumstances favor you, capitalize. Don't capitulate. So
That's the thing, and obviously, with the conditions, the way conditions were in Brazil, I'm assuming that, Verstappen, he, what's even funnier, the guy had a 7 grid penalty or something, 5 to 7 grid penalty, and he won the race against the likes of Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc. Even though that sounds odd, but the fact that they've been better than him all year, sorry, May up until now, yeah, the fact that they've been better than him until now, and he's won that race with wet tires and in weather condition in such wet conditions, you just gotta give that you gotta give credit to where it's due. Like that's unbelievable right there. And obviously, you got like the way what's it called, the way the drivers got out of the race as well, and it also depends on, it also depends on your ability to control the car when possible, because you don't you just never know, like, how when your race is done, especially with those type of conditions. I can't really fault anyone for getting knocked out of the race, but you know in conditions in situations where you have to control your car, you just have to control your car, and that's the
mhm.
thing.
Yeah.
And Max Verstappen's done that very, very well. I will say this though. Lewis Hamilton made the jump from like what 20th to first. Was that one might have been better, but at the same time, the fact that Max Verstappen won it with wet conditions from 17th to first makes it
Mhm.
even better. I think you could argue it's also better, but 20th to first never really happens. It just
I mean, what I will say, two things. Lewis had the sprint, so it wasn't 20 to first in one race. It was 20th, I think, to 10th, and
right.
then he made the gap. But the reason I have Lewis higher is circumstances. Max, come on, he has a big lead in the championship, anyways. Even if it did go off the rails, again, he can take the risk. For Lewis, had he, been too aggressive, that's the championship done. And
Yeah.
Lewis was down by 70 points coming into final four races, similar to Lando, actually. Except, once again, look at the difference between in quality. Lewis made the difference. No matter the obstacles and the adversity, Lewis came back. So that's why I think Lewis's win is better, because pressure, and
Mm.
he performed under the highest pressure, by far better than any driver in the sport. So, yeah, and then you mentioned again, yeah, I think Max just phenomenal drive, phenomenal.
Phenomenal. I think the mental edge to get him over the line as well. I think it's with Lando Norris. As much as Lando Norris is a great driver, and obviously has been a great driver this year, I'm not gonna say anything else. But the thing is, that mental edge got him over the line. Max Verstappen, like he's the more experienced driver at the end of the day. He's the more like he's the better driver. I don't think that's really up for debate as of now. But in the future, we never know. Like we can probably say maybe in 2 3 years time we can judge if Lando Norris does continue with this car, does continue with what does continue with McLaren, and improve his car, or wherever he is in the next few years. We'll see. But the thing is with Max, he's just a better driver, and the reason why
Yeah,
he got over the line is because of his mental edge, and that's where credit's due, because Max Verstappen has been on an absolute, like, he's been ranting every single time, like, every race he's been stick he's given it he's given his team so much stick, right, that they've they just don't know, like, how do you call it? They just didn't have a solution. They didn't have a solution for him, and the fact that now he's won a race for after 5 months, it's like, like, think about it. It's like a title. It's like someone being up by what 20 points and not winning a game in like 3 months in the football match. Something like that. And then, but then there you go. It's like, it's almost as if like it's kind of Max Verstappen's fault, but also his team's fault. Like for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he nearly pulled a Mikel Arteta Arsenal. That's what he nearly did.
It's literally, bro. The 8 point lead, and then nearly throw it away.
Except the difference is mental strength between both, right? Because Max was Man City, and I want to add, I don't think it's just mental strength. I think it's racecraft, because as a driver, some of the overtakes that Max makes, only very few can make. Him, Schumacher, Senna, Lewis. So I think what Max has done is racecraft, his ability, his acumen. He is off the charts. And also, do you see how calm and blasé he is under pressure? Which is something new, because even in 2021, when he was will to will with Lewis, he was a bit agitated and pressed. These days, like you said, yes, he's been on rants, but he's being on rants because his car hasn't been that good. Whereas when he gets given the opportunity to fight, he is so calm. He's like, leave me to it. Let me do it. I'll handle it. I'll get business done. And that's why he's one of the best drivers ever. So I think, Max is going to seal the deal this weekend. Or next weekend, whenever Vegas is.
It's also about decision making as well, and he's got that with him. He's complete. He's got that in his locker, and the best part of Max Verstappen is the guy does not. The guy is so composed. Like he takes his races so well, and you know what it is like when he was down like 5 places or something, he'll still come back and win. Like, he doesn't have to finish in the podium. The guy is not afraid to take players on, to take cars on very, very. Like, he's his car. He knows his car is the fastest. He know that he built this car with his team. So it's like I said, it leads to experience. You win your first race, you'll want to win more. So that's part of the experience. When you win your first race, you'll then feel like you're big. You finally, like, you finally stopped dominance, and now you're willing to dominate. Take over the F1, or take over the league. Let's say that. But I don't want to Ferrari. What do you think Ferrari have a chance? Like, do you think Ferrari can still win this constructors championship? What do you see? Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz doing the upcoming races? Like, where do you see them? Because it's been a really good season for Ferrari. It's been a very up and down season, but they're within touching distance now, and they're still and there's a chance. But I want to know. Just give me your overall assessment on Ferrari as a whole.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys can see. It's a bit blurry. This is the current gap in the constructors. It's McLaren 593 points leading, followed by Ferrari in second with 557.
36 points.
Yeah, so 36. That's a doable gap to overturn. There is no reason why you can, because remember, this is not one driver, it's both drivers. So you can make up in a race maximum. How much can you make in one race? 26 plus 18.
Plus the plus one rule as well.
So it's 20. So I included it. So 26 plus 18 is
19.
44. Sure, 44, 45, whatever it is.
Around that.
Yeah, they can do it in one race. Realistically, not going to happen, because McLaren and Oscar are very reliable. I think for Ferrari, look, they have a car that's capable of competing on street circuits in Abu Dhabi. My worry for Ferrari, again, I haven't seen upgrades yet.
Yeah.
That could change. So people in the comments, if there are any major upgrades, please let us know. But I think Abu Dhabi and Las Vegas are the two races that they're competitive at. My issue with Qatar is, if I remember Qatar correctly, a lot of straight lines, a lot of DRS zones. What does that mean? Your straight line speed has to be quick. Between McLaren and Ferrari, whose straight line speed is quicker? McLaren, by far. Not even close. So as a car, they're quicker. As a pure engine, they're quicker. So I think for Ferrari, this upcoming race in Abu Dhabi, that's where you have to make the difference. And like you said, Ekman, I agree. You gotta have to get double podiums, preferably a double podium with a win. Either way, it doesn't matter. This time Ferrari. And I want to ask you, Ekman, you're the Ferrari fan. Would you let the drivers fight? Like, let's say they were second and third. Would you let them fight, or would you tell them hold? Because I think you at this point you have to prioritize the constructors.
Fight.
I think you would let them fight still amongst themselves.
Anyone wins this team, Ferrari win.
But is it too risky that, like, if you crash out, you can lose the constructors? Because you crash out, that's it, you're done.
The thing is, right? Anyone, I just want a Ferrari double podium. That's all I want right now. For in the final 3 races, I need a Ferrari treble of double podium.
Sure.
That's what I need. It doesn't matter who wins the race for me. It can be Carlos Sainz wins the race, then Charles Leclerc finishes second, or Charles Leclerc finishes first, and then Carlos Sainz finishes third, second or third. It's something like that. Yep. Something like that. There were 2 races in a row where Ferrari got a double podium, and I think Carlos Sainz even got third in one of the races as well. Prior to that, I think this has happened 3 times now this season. This happened I think 3 times now this season. So what I want to say is, it doesn't matter who wins the race for me. It's about finishing it in style. It's about finishing it, because Carlos Sainz won his race in Australia. He won the race in what was the race that he won again? The one before that.
Singapore?
No. Singapore Ferrari.
Singapore was last year.
I think the last 2. I think 2 races ago. Before Brazil.
Either we're just forgetting about a race. Baku? No,
not Baku. Baku he came second.
Because obviously Mexico. Oh, it was Mexico. Oh my God. Yeah. Sorry, it was Mexico. I completely forgot.
He won in Mexico as well.
Yeah, Carlos Sainz won.
He won in Mexico.
Yeah, that was a good drive, because Ferrari weren't the outstanding constructor that day. He held off Lando.
So what I want is a Ferrari double podium, and what I want is to, I wouldn't say fight, but I just want someone to step up. I want someone to step up to the occasion. Someone to step up to, against the odds, because Ferrari are like 36 points down right now. That can be overturned. So we all have to hope now that it's within it's down to the 2 drivers to make that change, or to help us get to the top. Mm-hmm. But if we don't win this weekend, I think it's over. Because they only got 2 more races left, and I don't know if you can, unless you get double podium in the final 2 races, and McLaren does not get a sniff of anywhere near first, then maybe there's a chance. But for me, I just don't see a chance for I don't see a chance for McLaren, or Ferrari right now. I don't see a chance for Ferrari if they bottle the next race. The next race is very, very important, and I wouldn't say a fight, but someone has to step up to the occasion, and someone has to win. Double podium is needed. But go on.
Yeah, no, I just want to say, I don't think it is make or break in the constructors. I think in the drivers, of course, because if Lando doesn't win and Max finishes high, it's over. I'm just assuming Max is going to win Vegas because the momentum is crazy at the moment. He's on a big high, and he's in the richest vein of form. So I think Max is going to win. But I think, if Ferrari can beat McLaren, whether it's by 10 points, I think that's good enough this weekend. That's fine. Even if it's a 2 and a 3 for Ferrari and McLaren are below, that's fine. I think they just have to make up the margin this weekend. And Abu Dhabi is when they have to steal the show. Get your upgrades in time for Abu Dhabi, because that's a race that's likely not going to rain. I don't think it ever rains in Abu Dhabi. When has it ever rained in a Formula One race? At least recently. Um,
At least
so
not.
I
At
think
least
exactly. So I think for Abu Dhabi, get your upgrades ready for Abu Dhabi. For Ferrari, put it this way: over the next 3 races, beat McLaren in Vegas, beat them. Whatever that means, beat them. Whether that's a win or a podium. In Qatar, damage limitation because they're unequivocally the quicker car. And in Abu Dhabi, go all out, guns blazing, win the constructors in style, 1-2, say goodbye to Carlos Sainz, thank you very much, and goodbye. That's what they have to do.
they need to try and get the constructor championship and let Carlos Sainz leave on a high because he's done so much for Ferrari in the past few
He's
years.
not, and the saddest thing is, Ferrari haven't got silverware in how long? Like proper silverware.
They've not got silverware since Michael Schumacher days.
Crazy. Hopefully next season, right?
I hope so, man, because Lewis Hamilton coming in will now be like the where Ferrari need to really, really go big. It's like go big or just don't bother, because it's like Lewis Hamilton's sort of coming towards the end of his career, sort of coming towards the end of his driving career. So I think Ferrari might or might not be his last destination, but my point is Ferrari needs to start winning now, because you will not get another chance to win with a certain, like, with one of the greats ever again. They won it with Lewis. Sorry, not Lewis. They won it with Michael Schumacher. Lewis Hamilton is the next up and coming. So he needs to win something with Ferrari. It's like I said, I'm gonna give this comparison many times. It's like when Ronaldo moved back to Man United, or when LeBron James moved to the Lakers, something of that sort. So you have to give. So you have to supply him with the best in class, and Ferrari need to improve going into next year. They need to get the best in class to actually go on and win, because next year, like for me, one of Lewis Hamilton's final ever racing years. So
Yes.
you've got no excuses next year, but to go out and go big next year. Spend all that cap, spend all the salary cap on something that you need to improve on. I think Ferrari's front wing maybe improve the engine. Something that improve. Just make sure that you improve, because next year is going to get more interesting. Because it'll be, for me, I think Red Bull will be back in it. They'll also have McLaren in it. You'll have maybe Mercedes in it. You never know. You have Ferrari. So I think it comes down to 4 teams.
I clip this. Ferrari are winning the double next year.
You better hope you're right.
Clip this.
I would love it.
I don't know whether it's Lewis or Leclerc who wins the drivers, but Ferrari are doing the double. Clip this. Also,
I don't know. I don't think Lewis Hamilton will win the Drivers' Championship. The Constructors' Championship is very, very possible, because I think Max Verstappen will be back again next year, and Lando Norris will be even better. That's what I think, at least.
I don't know, because the Red Bull car seems to be declining every race, and if it's equal from the beginning of the season, yeah. I don't see why Leclerc can't make the advantage. Of course, for Lewis, it'll be different because he's getting used to a new team, so there'll be a little bit of an adjustment period. Fine, but for Leclerc, you have to do it next season. Next season is the best time, because your car heading into next season for the first time ever in your career is the best. So you got to do it next season, Charles Leclerc. It's almost like an ultimatum to you here.
I think the best car. I think Charles Leclerc is going to get the best car. Driver.
Yeah, because with Lewis they'll have to tweak it up, right? Because new team, new setting, new engineers, new someone in his ear, because Peter Boddington is his race engineer is not following him. It's a completely new thing for Lewis. By the way, have you seen, speaking on Lewis, I don't want to distract, but Lewis has been given Michael Schumacher's house to stay there, by the way, in Italy. I think it was Enzo Ferrari's house originally, I'm not sure.
Right.
So Michael Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton are the only 2 drivers that have been given that honor. So big pressure. And also John Elkann, owner of Ferrari, he is going to invest big into Lewis Hamilton's own private ventures. So
Right.
Lewis Hamilton, Ferrari are going completely in. They are fully in on Lewis Hamilton. They're committed
They're
and
get,
invested in
they're giving you the biggest chance now.
everything.
They're applying you the best in class. So this is now your chance to step it up and not get
Exactly.
caught.
So unlike this season, where of course there's been controversy with Mercedes, sabotage, whatever it is, next
Mm,
season the ball is completely in your court. And in
right.
2 years' time, I think Lewis Hamilton has to win the drivers' championship
Mm,
because biggest driver ever with the biggest constructor ever, 1+1 has to be the winningest team.
right. And I think next year, like I said, it's going to be one of his final few years of racing. I don't know how many. I don't know how many years he signed a contract for. Like about 2 years, 2 or 3 years, or something like that.
Must be a 2+1, right?
Two plus for the extension, maybe, or something like that. But regardless, that right there, it's just you've not got much time. It just tells you you've not got much time. You've only got 2 years. So around like what 44 races? How many races in a year? Like what 26 races? Excuse me, 26 races, right?
Must be 23, 24, yeah.
24, something like that. So let's just assume this like so let's assume you've got 52 races with Ferrari. You need to. It's just like the time now for you. This is your time to shine. Like you've not got much time left. As much as it might break people's hearts to hear that, he's not got much time, and you're now being, and you're now going to be given the keys to the face of Ferrari's um
Kingdom.
kingdom, exactly.
Their
Because Michael
kingdom.
Schumacher, let's be real, will always be the face of Ferrari. He will always be the face of Ferrari. I don't see anyone, even though Lewis Hamilton wins his 8th championship with Ferrari, I don't. He will not be the face of Ferrari because Michael
For sure.
Schumacher carried Ferrari, carried it
Absolutely.
on his back. Like I remember one time he won a race with like five pit stops. Like I don't think that will ever be done ever again.
Yeah. I mean, what's crazy is if you look back at the footage, Akavin, in
Yeah,
2007, when Michael Schumacher was asked who is most likely to get to your 7 championships or surpass it, he said Lewis Hamilton.
yeah.
And that's visionary because at the time, not many thought that. And Lewis Hamilton dominated in go karting, he dominated in the lower tiers of F1. So every step of the way, Lewis Hamilton has done what he said he would do. And he's easily the most talented and successful driver ever. The results don't lie. So, and most race wins, most poles, most everything. Basically, every stat is in his favor.
Mm.
Every major stat holistically. So for Lewis, like Akavin said, uh, next season, man, they're giving you everything. You literally have the keys to the entire kingdom. So go on, do what you're supposed to do, and claim your 8th officially.
I hear that completely. There's always 26 of you watching. Please make sure you click the YouTube link and smash the like button. Hit this and make sure you subscribe. I'm currently on 82 subs, and I would love to get to 100 subs before the end of the month. And before the end of the year, we'll keep on growing. We keep on going. So people, we're always here bringing you content. Make sure you show some love. Make sure you show everyone love in the chat. Make sure you always respectful. So people are happy hopping on the channel and talking, sports, any sports. We'll be doing some more sports soon as well. So make sure you're tuned in. Make sure you keep your notifications on and all the good stuff. But I just want to ask you, yeah, what about the Middle East? When F1 heads to the Middle East, what are you expecting from the final 2 races? Like, before you ask, what do you expect the conditions to be within the final the Vegas? Obviously, we'll preview the Vegas race again, but I want to know what are your thoughts on, like, what do you think the conditions will be like in Vegas?
Vegas, I'm not sure because Vegas timing is a bit strange. It's late at night in Vegas, which is again quite unusual for a race. I can tell you the Middle East tire degradation is going to be a problem. If you remember Singapore, the drivers were struggling. Many of them said this was the toughest race they ever experienced. So if Singapore was bad, I would say Qatar is that on steroids. Qatar's going to be tough. Qatar's going to be physically and mentally enduring. That's where the car, one, is going to make the difference. But that's also where I know how I've been saying that McLaren are the quickest team in Qatar, in the Middle East. But I also think that means they're prone to mistakes. because Lando. Do you remember Singapore Ekabin? Lando made a couple mistakes. He did. Yes, he won by 25 seconds, but there were moments when he could have crashed into the wall. He let his hands off the wheel for a bit.
Very, very tight race, yeah.
So yeah, exactly. So I think again, Ferrari and Leclerc and Sainz. I think Sainz more because I think Leclerc is the better driver, but Sainz is more reliable.
Right.
So I think they have to be on top of it. Just wait.
Sainz is more predictable.
Yeah, predictable is a good word as well. Yeah. I think they just have to be a little bit wary. Just wait. Be patient. Wait for your opportunity, and pressure them into making a mistake. So I think for Qatar, be very hot, tire degradation, and you just have to stay locked in because it's going to be mentally draining. Good luck. That's all I have to say. Good luck to every driver there because that could mean there'll be safety cars as well.
Oh, trust me, plenty. Because like,
yeah.
I don't know how much. Yeah, like, I don't know how hot it will be by that time. But you know how the Middle East is like. It is going to be absolutely heated in that car. So it's going to be a crazy like end to the season. It's going to be very interesting just to see what exactly unfolds because, as you know, as people know, I'm a Ferrari fan and I would love nothing but a Ferrari Constructors Championship. Like I've been begging for the last 2-3 years that there's something this could happen. I've never seen Ferrari win properly. I've seen Michael Schumacher race, but I was a kid at the time, so I was not like how do you call it? So I was not really like I don't have knowledge about the Constructors Championship, Drivers Championship, and all that sorts. So when Michael Schumacher racing, look, nothing more than a privilege to have watched him, and to fill his shoes and to honor him, to honor what he's done, to give back to what he's done. Go and win this Constructors Championship. Real talk, win it as a team. Because for me, Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc for me is arguably the best duo. Like if you're talking about duo, these two are the best duos. Like because at least with an average decent car. Because obviously Checo Perez and Max Verstappen obviously won races, but like what's happened to Perez now? But not and Oscar Piastri like rarely ever wins a race. But you see Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc win a race as much as each other. Mm-hmm. So I argue they're the best duo in F1 right now. Like the current currently.
I look, I hear that. I think they're top two for sure, or top 2, top 3. But I think if we're looking at pure ability, take the car away. Lando and Oscar, just the pace and quality and the reliability, it is higher than Ferrari. They are, as a duo, a little bit more reliable. And also, if we're taking the car completely away, I would take Hamilton and George Russell. But for sure, I think if we're looking at Ferrari since Michael Schumacher, this is probably the best duo. Because I know you've had Sebastian Vettel, Fernando Alonso, Charles Leclerc, but as a duo, these two have coexisted and cooperated quite well, I think. I don't remember much tension or animosity between them. And for the most part, they've been aligned on objective and expectation. So it's good. I think they're very important because when Ferrari do eventually get that constructors drivers double that I do foresee them achieving, I do forecast it happening very soon. Science has played a big part. Because say what you want about Ferrari, they have come from the depths of mediocrity into victory. Because a few seasons ago, it was a Mercedes and Red Bull, right? Mercedes and Red Bull dominating each and every race. Ferrari were nowhere. They weren't even there in the podiums, right? You had other teams like Racing Point back then, or McLaren, for example. So, or AlphaTauri. So I think Ferrari have done a great job. Carlos Sainz has been instrumental in helping development. But next season and the season after, it's go time. It's go time and show time.
I hear that completely. I hear that, man. And so moving on to Qatar and the Middle East and obviously Abu Dhabi, excuse me. Like, I know you've said briefly about the weather and the conditions. Tell us a bit more about the circuits. Obviously, like you told me Qatar is straight, and Abu Dhabi is like what, very very tight. Yeah.
Abu Dhabi is interesting because you do have straights, but you also do have a couple of DRS zones. Um, Obviously, we have the infamous one where Max overtook Lewis in 2021. But Sector 3 particularly, not many overtaking opportunities. So Abu Dhabi is a mixed bag. Abu Dhabi has some of Vegas and some of Qatar. So I think it's going to be very interesting. I feel like that's the race that Ferrari have to cap off. But I think whoever wins that race will win the constructors. Put it this way, whoever wins Abu Dhabi will win the constructors. Not including Red Bull, because I think, like you said, Akevin, for whatever reason, Checo Perez is off, and he's not even like a second driver. Like I don't even know where Checo Perez is finishing these days. He's finishing in the bottom half.
And he finished last in his own home as well.
Monstrosity.
Crazy.
Makes no sense. I mean,
yeah.
No. I just echo everything you said there. It makes no sense because your car by no means should be finishing last. There is no excuse at all.
No means.
You may be the nicest, and remember, just to clarify for those watching, when we criticize drivers, we're not criticizing them personally. No. Checo Perez seems like a very nice lad. Seems like a guy I'd go out for a coffee with. I don't know about you, Ekevin. I don't drink coffee, but I'd go out for a coffee with him. Maybe a frappe.
Or a cup of tea.
Sure. Yeah, probably better. But as a driver, this is like untenable at Red Bull. This is like Eric Ten Hag level. And I know we haven't mentioned his name, but this is Eric Ten Hag level at Red Bull. So now Max is carrying that team. Max's back must hurt a lot these days.
It probably does because he's carrying that Red Bull team, and obviously, I think and I hope we see a more competitive race next year. Hopefully, we'll see the final 3 races being competitive. Any more things you'd like to say, bro? Any more
No, I think we summed it up well. I think next 3 races, I think Max wins in Las Vegas, wins the championship in style, like a superstar, wins his 4th, is it? I think it's his 4th, which would be crazy. I think that would catapult him into the top 5 in F1 history. And if he's not there already, which I think he's there. And then for the constructors, I think, it's neck and neck. That's going to be what everyone watches, the constructors, because that's going to be quite fun and entertaining. So this is the stuff that legends are made of. Lando, Oscar, Charles, and Carlos. You can be a legend for the team that you currently drive for, depending on what you do these next 3 races. So that's what I say here, Ekevin. Who do you think, I just want to ask you, Ekevin, we both know is winning the drivers. We know that already, but who do you think is winning the constructors? Like, final prediction.
My heart says Ferrari.
Okay.
My head also says Ferrari.
I like it. Okay, I rate it. I agree with you.
We're doing it.
I agree.
I don't care. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know who's gonna win, but I'm just giving you my prediction, like what I think, like my biased thoughts, because I'm a Ferrari fan and I'm very biased. You know me, people. I love defending, what's my own, at most of the time. But this is what this is what I've never seen. So this is something that I would love as a Ferrari fan. Nothing more than a team win, like something to go into next season looking forward to. That maybe Ferrari's era is coming back. Maybe, just maybe.
I think it is.
We can never say for sure. But I hope that Ferrari's era coming back. But it is what it is, man. But people, I think we'll wrap it up here. There's about 26 or 27 of you watching. Please make sure you head over to the YouTube link, click like, and make sure you share and subscribe. All the good stuff. I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to reach 100 subs before the end of the year, or at least before December. So please make sure you do that. Make sure you leave your comments in. Make sure you be respectful with everyone, because everyone hops on the panel. They get their thoughts. They're taking the time out of their lives to come and talk sports. So make sure you show them some love. Make sure you show make sure you share it with your mates. Make sure you send me some inquiries if you'd like to hop on the channel and maybe give your how do you say it? I would like to speak as well because it'd be interesting. Anyone who likes F1, anyone who likes NBA, we would like a bigger panel. Me and Auguste will also be on. Obviously, you'll see King. You'll see more people. You'll see another one. You'll see someone else make his debut on the channel yesterday. So I hope that this will only be the start of something special, and I would love to grow in the sports community. But people, that's been us for today. Make sure you do make sure all the good stuff. Take care. Have a good evening and bless. Forza Ferrari.
Preach.